Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on that Fallout hype train. All of Fallout's creepy cryptids explained. So, Fallout has been taking over the world for a while, and I have to say, I have been enjoying it a lot, as I, the great Lord Nuxanor, need to know the lore of everything that ever existed. Ever. We are going to be doing this. We are going to go freaking crazy. We're covering every gooner cryptid that ever existed in the history of Fallout. So, Uranium Fever made this video, and I wanted to look at it. I wanted to see what we got here. Definitely check out the original and stuff if you don't want my ramblage and crazy reaction shit. Because, to be honest, I've been enjoying this. I have been holding off watching the actual series until I get through all the 100% blind reaction vids. And this is the last one. After I finish this, I will actually watch the Fallout show now that I will have my entire lore compendium of everything. So, are you ready, gamers? Let's freaking go. There's nothing that's gonna shock me here, right? It's just weird morphs and genetically mutated creatures from some things, all right? Come on, we'll be fine.
Creatures found in stories that some believe exist but have never been proven to exist. Cryptids.
That is a ugly picture of my dad.
Have been present.
Bro's got the Asmongold teeth. Dude! That's crazy. That's crazy. Ain't no way, bro. No. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get canceled by Asmongold fans again.
In Fallout since the very beginning. One of the series' most recognizable creatures, the Deathclaw was once among their number, viewed as little more than a rumor by the various inhabitants of Southern California, before spreading throughout the wasteland and making their existence abundantly clear to all. But for many others, unraveling the mystery is more surprising, as Fallout's cryptids range from interdimensional invaders and—
What?! There are interdimensional invaders in Fallout? Ain't no way. I thought Fallout was just nuclear mutations. Ain't no way it goes that crazy.
Scientific abominations, to paranormal phantoms, and even the spawn of Satan himself. Also characters like the wandering storyteller would have you believe, as the truth is often far less mystical. In today's video, we're running through the known lore of every cryptid to appear so far in the Fallout series.
Bro, Mothra is in Fallout? That's crazy.
Series, covering their origins, inspiration, and the impact they have had on the setting, before moving on to mention only cryptids and a series of in-game hints, dialogue, and illustrations in Fallout 76, but strongly suggest which creatures will be next to arrive, with chapters in the video's description for each section.
Huge. Alright, I'm honestly very excited for this. I am very excited for this. Listen, I've been enjoying the Fallout lore very, very much, so I am more than happy to see how all the cryptids fit into the Fallout lore. Because this is just an alternate reality from our current world that branches off in, like, what, 1945? So everything until 1945 should be the same. So I'm very curious to see how they tackle cryptids and to see if it's more than just genetic mutations.
Beginning today with the only cryptid to appear in every title so far, in one form or another. Aliens.
Okay. What? There are canonical aliens in Fallout? But they showed up now that they saw that Earth wiped each other out?
First appearing in Fallout as a special encounter, the existence of aliens was mostly alluded to in the beginning, thanks to advanced technology like the Psychic Nullifier, Biomed Gel, and Skynet, the latter an extremely powerful AI from Fallout 2, but outright stated it was created through the use of alien technology in 2050. But in Fallout 3, with the introduction of the Zetans, in the Mothership Zeta DLC, aliens were officially canonized in the flesh, where their impact on
they look cool.
Fallout's history was
They look trippy.
fully revealed, with the revelation that they have been visiting Earth for centuries. Visually very similar to the stories of little green men from our world, the Zetans are a technologically advanced species of small—
That's wild. So wait, so why didn't they— what? Are they good guys? Are they coming to save the Earth people? Because the Earth people really fucked up big time?
Green-skinned humanoid beings with disproportionately large heads, with a penchant for crash landing and abducting humans, their technology, and apparently just about anything they could get their hands on.
Bald head, abducting humans. They want everything they can get their hands on. These motherfuckers aren't aliens. They're just Andrew Tate.
and alongside them 2 other alien species as well, as their unappetizing alien squid food and alien worm food clearly did not originate from Earth. Despite these frequent trips to the surface, aliens qualify as cryptids, thanks in no small part to the US government and the Enclave.
Wait, so hold on. So according to the lore in Fallout, did the US government always know that aliens were there, but they were just hiding that shit from the people, like the actual alien conspiracy theories are? But now that Fallout happened and the government literally has no power anymore because the fucking Earth was nuked to oblivion, now the aliens are actually just being revealed to the masses because the government can no longer hide them? Because if that's true, that is some baller crazy lore.
Could also be surmised that to some extent, pre-war society was at least aware of the possibility of such creatures existing. Uncannily accurate depictions of the Zetans appeared in comics, animatronics, and creator of the pre-war religion Hubbology, Dick Hubble, was apparently in possession of an alien blaster too. Their existence was confirmed internally by the government in 2062, courtesy of the Palandine UFO report found on the Pentagon Library terminal, further supported by recovered Zetan corpses in Enclave facilities in
So the government obviously did know about this shit. I mean, 2042 or whatever, it's still in the future.
Appalachia. But widespread knowledge of the Zetan's existence was kept a closely guarded secret.
So it was that gimmick. It was that gimmick of the government knew about it, kept it a secret until eventually the government could no longer hide that shit because, you know, nuclear fallout.
Secret that was closest to being revealed to the general public in 2063.
Dude, I love what they did with the lore in this game. They did such a good job, like a magnificent job.
Crackpot conspiracy group Queer Verum discovered a secret government installation in the desert, possibly meant to be Fallout's version of Area 51, and successfully managed to steal evidence they believe proved that alien technology was being used by the government for their own nefarious ends.
Damn, the shadow government is real, bro. It's real, bro. They just went hard. They were using the alien tech the whole time.
Smoking gun was in fact the MPLX Nova Surge, an early prototype for the plasma pistol, and inadvertently they stumbled on 2 closely guarded secrets, the existence of aliens and the pre-war Enclave. Hell-bent on going to the press with their findings, they were undone by a double agent, Dr. Aldwin Morley.
They were undone, also known as they were fucking assassinated.
The group quickly hunted down their discoveries, dying with them, as although the final living member, Reed Underwood, succeeded in securing the weapon in a safe, it ended up being recovered by the Zetans anyway.
Bro, he died. He died to hide that in the safe. And then the aliens just got it anyway.
Post-war things are very different though, and for the inhabitants of Appalachia and the Capital Wasteland, the Zetans' existence isn't much of a secret anymore.
Yeah, because the government can no longer hide them. That's
invading the surface en masse in West Virginia, and a motley crew of abducted humans led by the Lone Wanderer.
It's the Zetans, West Virginia.
Successfully commandeering a mothership.
I would call that mothership the Mountain Mama.
Destroying another one in the process. But the Zetans aren't the only cryptids to originate from the stars, and one is arguably one of the most powerful creatures ever introduced in Fallout lore, the Flatwoods monster.
The Flatwoods monster. El Miracle, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate the support. Yo, I really appreciate everyone that's watching this live. And all the people that watch the YouTube video later. Like, y'all are dope. I appreciate you. The Flatwoods monster. Wait, so this isn't a species as much as this is a single creature that they found? Like, they don't know more than just this one encounter? I guess that's what makes it a cryptid.
A staple of West Virginian folklore, the first sighting of the Flatwoods monster.
Oh, what? Flatwoods monster actually is a real-life cryptid?
Happened on September 12, 1952, after a bright light tore across the sky before landing on the property of a local farmer. And on the crest of a hill, the party that investigated claimed to have seen a tall man-like figure with a round red face shrouded in a pointed hood, accompanied by a pulsing red light. Capturing the imagination of many, its legacy would see the sighting commemorated in an annual festival, immortalized in music, documentaries, and other media.
So that's so interesting how in Fallout, now that you don't have the cringe government, right? Or any of that, to hide this shit from the people and let people actually explore the inexplicable, right? We actually see how a lot of the cryptids in real life are actually real things that have just been masked or hidden. And now that there was a nuclear fallout, we could actually explore them and figure that shit out. That's a really, really cool, cool concept, honestly. for a nuclear fallout. Like, that's a very unexpected consequence from a fallout. The fact that government-guarded secrets are no longer guarded.
Explanations rationalize the sighting as nothing more than the combination of a meteor, hazard beacon, and a very disgruntled barn owl. But Fallout's Flatwoods monster is something else entirely. In the Fallout universe, this cryptid's origin story isn't too dissimilar.
Shit. Yeah, but it has like all this weird tech stuff. Like, where'd it come from?
Many claim to have seen this creature pre-war, with West Virginians like Colton Pickens, proprietor of Hill Fork Hot Dogs, claiming to have been abducted.
Well, the light started turning different colors. First it was blue, and then green, and then red, and then back to
average American
blue. All right.
I was smoking mushrooms. I didn't even know you're supposed to smoke those. But I did, and then the lights were just blue and red and yellow.
I've heard enough. Colton Pickens, I'm arresting you for drunken disorderly conduct and indecent exposure.
Indecent what? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything wrong.
Yo, he's literally me. I also never did indecent exposure, and yet I was arrested for that shit. Look it up.
Discovered naked and shouting
It's a whole public meme on Twitter.
on a roof. Police officers didn't buy his story, but thanks to uncannily
Yo, what? Disorderly conduct. Bro, he was actually just standing naked on his roof. The police didn't buy his story. He didn't believe in teleporting Flatwoods cryptid monsters.
accurate depictions of this creature found on the cover of Who Goes There, we can surmise that more than one person did come face to face with this creature. The wandering storyteller is more than happy to talk about this creature with you.
With my own 2 eyes, I saw the creature zap him with a purple laser.
Damn.
And then the 2 of them vanished into the night.
Oh,
But to
God.
truly get to the bottom of this mystery, you will need to defeat one yourself and peer under its metallic hood, which will actually reveal
Wait, so there are multiple of them? There are multiple Flatwood monsters?
a face looking back at you. And it's a Zayton. But not just any Zayton,
Wait,
as
what?
tiny malformed legs are found in...
It was just an alien. Dude, if you think about it though, a lot of people like have sightings that are similar in different places and they're attributed to different things. Like, you know, the El Chupacabra, the Sasquatch, the Yeti, the Abominable Snowman, like the Bigfoot, right? These could all be describing the same creature, the same species in different areas that just got different names. Like, I think it is a cool idea that the Flatwoods monster is just a basic Zayden alien that was just there, and for whatever reason, people attribute it as a different creature.
inside this battlesuit, and facing one in daily ops reveals its true name, the Alien Inquisitor. The Enclave are also privy to this information, as we find a depiction of one in their bunker, and the enlightened cult of the Mothman were also aware of it too, as we
Dude, that's a whole ass Mothman.
find warnings of its true nature written in their sacred tomes. In combat, it utilizes powerful purple rays, teleports around the player at will, and will regenerates health near death. But what makes it so powerful in the lore is its controlling ability,
Its mere presence can warp the mind of all but the most iron will.
as the Alien Inquisitor can
Damn.
and will control almost every
Yo, what?
single entity in its
This is crazy strong.
vicinity to assist it against the player.
How is this just a regular Zayden in a wheelchair? Like, I feel like this is so much more than just an alien.
Everything present at major boss fights, other cryptids, and even camp turrets and robots. The wandering storyteller wasn't embellishing his story about this one, which begs the question, how far could this power extend? Its ability to control scorched affected creatures, including the Queen, are particularly impressive given the fact they are already possessed by a hive mind. But could it even control entities like Liberty Prime? Do its powers come from the suit, or is this Satan an exceptionally powerful mutant? We're unlikely to ever find out for sure, but it's safe to say that the tales about the Flatwoods monster in Fallout only tell half the story. But sometimes cryptid legends in Fallout
No, this thing is stronger than it has any right to be. Like a random Zayden with a wheelchair is just gonna be this OP. Nah, bro. Nah, I'd sus. Nah, I'd lobotomy.
are just stories after all.
That's wild. That's a good one. I like the idea that some things are just gonna remain mysterious. Like, you don't need the explanation for everything. Like, it's just one of the mysteries of the world. But Beast of Beckley.
Entering the world of Appalachia's cryptid enthusiasts
Bro, why is everything in Appalachia?
means picking up the trail of
122 freaking vaults, and 99% of them are in Appalachia and Virginia and LA. Like, they're all just a 20-minute walk from each other.
unsolved mysteries. One is unsolved death and taxidermy, a quest started at Priblo's Curios.
Okay.
Once home to Janelle and Raymond Priblo before the war, their shop specialised in selling cryptid merchandise, peddling a variety of interesting creations, ranging from the Dogonet to the
Yo, what the fuck? That's
Buckler.
scary.
This pair would seemingly come face to face with the real thing, the Beast of Beckley. Picking up their trail through a series of notes
What is the Beast of Beckley?
and holotapes, we learned that both Raymond and Janelle would meet their end hunting this creature for fellow enthusiast Calvin Van Loo.
Bro, that's just a dog.
Someone we'll be talking a lot more about later on, but following in their footsteps for the moment, the true nature of this beast is both surprisingly believable and a bit disappointing. The Beast of Beckley was nothing more than a large albino wolf,
So I said, bro, just dog. Just dog that got mutated.
which along with her pups, savaged the pair, and putting all of them down completes the questline. Although Fallout 76
That's so sad, dude. It's the saddest quest I've ever heard.
depicts it as a canine creature, it's described as being an incredibly tall, black, shadowy humanoid creature in cryptid stories in our world. The consistency between the two designs, however, is the 4 bright yellow eyes, which can be seen on cryptid artwork found in-game, if not on the creature itself.
Yeah, because it, honestly, pretty cool, right? Because a lot of people will, even if the cryptid that they're talking about is real, even if the Beast of Beckley is a real thing, it's super likely gonna be described in a much more exaggerated fashion than what it actually is. It's just a big-ass dog, right? Like, I think that's a very well thought out idea that not every cryptid is actually going to be some uber powerful creature. It might just be a slightly bigger than average dog with slightly weirder than average scars, and people will interpret it as this monstrous creature with 4 eyes.
Another cryptid legend
Bro, it's just Moonless from Fear and Hunger, you right!
can be found at Pribler's Curios as well, its terrifying form depicted on the sign.
Jackalope. Right, that's a cryptid.
A mythical animal of North American folklore, the jackalope is described as a jackrabbit sporting a pair of antelope horns. Famous for its many taxidermy mounts, many including the original, are actually made with deer antlers, classed as
Well, obviously, 'cause it's not real. Or at least, not that we know of.
gaff taxidermy and a fearsome critter type of cryptid. Stories of horned rabbits can be traced as far back as 13th century Persian artwork,
Oh, shit.
being popularized in America in the 1930s. In universe, we actually find the first mention of the jackalope in Fallout 2. Downloaded from a terminal on Control Station Enclave, we learned that Vice President Daniel Byrd intended on this creature becoming the new national mascot.
No way they wanted to replace an eagle with a bunny rabbit with antlers, dog.
It's ventured a second time in the same game as well. Chosen One might spot a mole rat named Jackalope if they decide to participate in Mole Rat Mambo in Reading. And in Fallout 76, aside from the Curio sign, a Jackalope plushie and wall weapon rack could be set down in the safety of your camp. As
Alright, so there's a lot of symbolisms of it. But is it a real thing?
of yet though, this cryptid is yet to appear in the flesh.
No.
Moving on, it's time
Maybe
to
not, right? It's still just a mystery if that actually exists, or if it's just folklore. Pretty cool.
discuss a pair of cryptids
Pass.
whose origins differ greatly from traditional source material.
Bro's got that Asmongold teeth. Alright, I can't make that same joke in 2 videos. The Asmongold fans are gonna keep me alive.
But are no less horrifying. The FEV mutants, the Grafton monster, and Snallygaster.
These guys are scary as shit. FEV mutants.
A gi-
Right, are those even cryptids? I feel like those aren't really cryptids.
gigantic hairless grey mutant with disproportionately large limbs, and a foul many-eyed quadrupedal creature.
That is an ugly shit.
Both have West Tech to thank for their existence, and most shockingly of all, were once both human.
That's awful. It's awful.
Before discussing the unique biology of these two mutants, we start at the beginning of their shared origin
Bro, that's like, what's that one SCP? It's an SCP-001. It's like the living flesh. The day breaks. It looks like the day breaks SCP.
story at the West Tech Research Center. Founded in August 2075 to house the Greenhouse Initiative, the project
I think my least favorite horror trope ever is like when you see this mutated, creepy monster with like 1,000,000 eyes and ugly teeth and like fleshy and disgusting, and it's like, that was a human once. It's like, oh man, what? I didn't want to know that. Come on, bro. I feel like that's the easiest way to elicit just like a, oh fuck shit reaction out of me. It's like you show this disgusting, mutated, horrible, ugly mound of flesh and eyes, and it's like, that was a human. Oh, come on, bro.
its original goal was to apply mutations to edible plants, which would greatly increase food production, thus solving crippling food shortages throughout the country.
It was supposed to help food shortages, and it ends up infecting itself and turning it into a booble fuck.
But in February 2076, the project goals changed. The Greenhouse Initiative was replaced by the Forced Evolutionary Virus Initiative, which meant human experimentation, in an attempt to isolate a viable FEV strain, with the town of Huntersville providing a perfect testing ground. That same month, what seemed like a rare strain of flu broke out, eventually escalating into a full quarantine, military intervention.
Bro, this is what the government wanted you to think COVID was like. The government was like, bro, social distancing, because if you get COVID, you turn into an FEV flesh pit.
And house arrest for the town's residents. A stream of unsuccessful strains produced numerous failed mutations until October 14th, 2077, when a new FEV...
Again, it's interesting. I wouldn't call that a cryptid. It's a human that went through a mutation, and we know very much what happened with it. I mean, I get whatever. Honestly, I'm down to go through every creature in Fallout. Get the whole lore. It's pretty awesome. Dude, this is the 100% blind lore reaction series, and people have been liking it. I have been enjoying it. It's been crazy. I need to know the lore of everything that ever existed, so here we go. Thanks, Gotaro, for the sub.
strain took to test subject AM52, the very first Snallygaster. This subject combined traits that
Schmuckles, it's ugly. Holy crap.
resembled a number of
They went to the artist and they were like, okay, we want you to make the ugliest thing you can. Bonus points if it looks like a penis with eyeballs.
different species, sporting an increased number of ocular organs, an enlarged torso, and two
With all the eyeballs move at the same time, it's like, oh.
sets of arms with clawed digits. The scientists described it as a pile of quivering genetic biowaste.
Ugh, it's horrible, bro.
Still, it was considered a success, as it was a living, stable, functioning subject capable of sustaining itself, left in containment to incubate. The
I think that's the most horrible cryptid so far. Snallygaster.
Snallygaster had other ideas though, as we learn in the special report Containment Breach, but it managed to escape on January 3rd, 2078, where it proceeded to procreate, with the mutant spreading across...
Procreate? Oh my god, that is so much worse, dude! Okay, so I guess it's a cryptid because anyone that sees this shit will call it a cryptid, right? Like we, being that we are watching this story from a bird's eye view, right? We are getting the full lore breakdown. We know that it was someone who got caught an infection from his own drug by accident and turned into a Snallygaster, a living flesh pit, right? But anyone that sees that, they're gonna think, oh yeah, that's not human. That's a cryptid.
Appalachia. Although based on a local
This is based on the IRL Snallygaster? That's a real cryptid?
legend, Fallout Snallygaster is arguably the most drastically different appearance-wise. Schnellergeist, which means quick spirits,
Schnellergeist, that's German. Dude, that's hilarious. They're not pretty either.
early accounts come from German settlers in the
Told you, bro. I know my German. I know my German, bro.
1730s, describing it as a half-reptile, half-bird chimera, which would swoop down in the middle of the night to snatch its victims, before
I mean, I guess I
draining
see
them of
it,
blood.
right? I mean, maybe not half chimera, but like it looks like something out of your nightmares.
But could be warded off by 7-pointed stars, which can still be seen painted on local barns.
Right? Because people, they believe in this shit. They're like, all right, 7-star, and the Schnellergeist isn't gonna show up.
This cryptid legend is more accurately depicted on the artwork from the Season 12 scoreboard. Heading back to West Tech, the scientists were very pleased with the success of AM52, so they decided to tweak some genomes for the next FEV strain,
Dude,
and
that is
infecting
an
test subject
ugly
AM53, the first grafted monster was born. Despite a lack of a discernible head, the subject survived its metamorphosis, far exceeding expectations but growing too large for containment on site. So,
Too large for containment. This literally sounds like SCP. Dude, Fallout World needs an SCP ASAP.
on October 23rd, 2077, a truck carrying the mutant set off on a fateful journey. Distracted by the nuclear bombs falling from the sky, the truck's driver
Yeah, that would distract me. It's like, don't text and drive. Don't look at the nuclear bomb falling in middle of Manhattan while driving.
John Bunton crashed near the town of Grafton, and the Grafton monster was free. And presumably, like the Snallygaster before it, this thing can
It procreated.
actually procreate,
Ah, shit.
as these titanic powerhouses can be found throughout Appalachia.
There's a lot of them now. They just keep growing. Again, but these are just human mutations, right? That's the source.
Post-war. Launching tar-like projectiles and slamming the ground with its fists, different variations can be found.
Oh, dude, that's horrible.
One even being infected by slamming the ground with its fists.
Bro looks like
Different variations
Bro looks like Quagmire when he found out that porn exists on the internet. Bro looks like he spent a little too long alone in front of the hub, bro.
can be found. one even being infected by strangler vines, suffering from deep seeping lesions. Unlike the Stanagaster, Fallout's grafted monster is visually quite similar to its supposed real-world sighting. In 1964, Robert Cockrell, a reporter for the
Bro's name was Cockrell? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Grafton Sentinel, claimed to have seen a large humanoid creature with no visible head and slick seal-like skin stalking the forest outside of the town. His account was quickly dismissed by his editor, but news of the monster spread, leading to its growing popularity in the region.
I mean, honestly, that's a pretty well depicted drawing of it.
Perhaps the closest representation of a real-world cryptid in the Fallout universe, though, is actually the ravenous Wendigo.
Bro, so that's a Wendigo. I thought Wendigos had antlers.
A cryptid that, quite interestingly, is most often portrayed incorrectly in most other media.
Wendigo. So this one I heard of. Wendigos are creepy though.
Originating from Native American folklore, a Wendigo was described as an everyday human being who, in times of famine, had resorted to cannibalism.
Yeah, and that's the SCP Wendigo skull also. The skull gets put on someone's head and then it turns them into a cannibal. Like it's a scary concept that it's just a regular human like me and you, but some sort of spiritual virus infects them. See, I would say this falls under the category of cryptid, I think, much better than the last one.
Possessed by evil spirits to crave human flesh.
Right, it's a spiritual curse. It's not like an actual physical famine or a physical virus. It's a spiritual virus.
They would become emaciated but possess preternatural speed and strength. No antlers in sight. In Fallout 76, Wendigos have all of those qualities, with the addition of a piercing scream, capable of stunning their prey, despite their big...
Damn. So they're super fast, super strong, and cannibals. This is what happens when you're a vegan for too long. It just takes over.
A Wendigo sighting recorded by cryptid enthusiast Beverly Solomon, dated 2077. And who goes there? Yet again, depicting an accurate image of the creature. There are two candidates for the first actual Wendigo in Appalachia. Morris Stevens, leader of the cannibalistic Gormans raider gang, was
the cannibalistic Gormans. Oh.
Was driven out after breaking their one rule: don't eat your own. Due to
We had one rule, bro. We had one rule. We are a congregation. Fish are friends, not food. Bro,
his
don't eat your own.
Increasingly depraved fixation with cannibalism and a shortage of their normal food supply, Morris and his wife Edie killed a fellow gang member, the half-eaten corpse discovered by the rest of the gang.
Cringe. They were like, dude, what do we always say? Don't eat your own. You could have eaten any one of those people.
The banishment in the cave didn't stop the hunger, though.
Edie, darling Edie.
Oh shit. Oh no, he doesn't eat his wife, right?
How delicious you were.
Never mind, he ate his wife. Jeebus fucking shystles. He ate his wife. Oh.
The sweet taste of your flesh as it passed
Bro, this is just Oompaville. Oompaville 2 days after Fallout.
down my throat.
Growing so ravenous that Morris ate his wife Edie, mutating into the creature we now find in the cave, devouring anything stupid enough to come inside. But Morris might not have actually been the first, as in January 2076, before the bombs had dropped.
Dude, that's crazy. That is crazy. Bro just ate his wife, not in the fun way, and became a Wendigo. That's crazy.
Earl Williams and a party of drunken and disgruntled townsfolk from Monongah.
But it's interesting to think about the fact that it is spiritual, right? Like, he became a Wendigo. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Did he become a Wendigo and therefore became a cannibal? Or was he a cannibal and therefore was infected by this Wendigo spirit?
Was sealed inside the mine by supervisor Deke Sykes. Trapped inside and growing desperate, the body of James, a miner who had actually died from injuries, caused a division amongst the survivors. Several, including Williams, agreed to cannibalize the corpse, though others stated they would rather die than feed on their fellow man. And that was just the start, as more died from...
What cringe. Obviously, cannibalism is better than dying. I'm just saying, as far as like really unhinged, creepy shit that you see in like apocalyptic scenarios, I think eating people is by far the most based. Bro, you gotta live. He's dead anyway. He doesn't care. Eat him. I'm just saying. It's not gay if you eat your bro.
From starvation, the more they fed. Documenting his mental collapse in a journal you can find, William's hunger got the best of him, and the living are next on the menu. By 2103, Earl Williams has mutated into a Wendigo colossus, a larger and more powerful variant, with 2 additional heads, increasingly long, disproportionate limbs, towering over their smaller kin. Whether this is due to increased feeding or radiation is unclear, but all variants do share a unique quality.
Dude, it's like the Wendigos were fucking creepy enough before the Fallout mutated them into these creatures.
They can often be found amongst feral ghouls, working in tandem with them and not hostile to one another.
Wait, why don't the Wendigos eat ghouls?
Perhaps suggest
Is it because ghouls are mutated humans and they only want to eat their own, and they view their own as humans, so they only want to eat humans, not ghouls? It's pretty creepy.
suggesting that they are actually
But again, if it's some spirit that takes them over, that makes sense, sort of.
a subtype of ferals after all. Not all cryptids are the stuff of nightmares though, and one is actually pretty docile, with conflicting
Wholesome
information
cryptid.
in-game as to whether
It's a sloth cryptid!
it even is a cryptid at all. The Mega Sloth.
Let's go, the Mega Sloth! Ha! 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 I don't know. What do you call a 3-humped camel?
Prior to the Great War,
Pregnant!
Isaac Garahan, son of the CEO of the Garahan Mining Company in Appalachia, had a very interesting pastime. Disinterested in his family's company, Isaac preferred to spend time with his peculiar pets.
The majestic sloth.
Yes! So relatable. God, I wish I was just a... You ever wake up in the morning and just wish you were a sloth? Just me?
So misunderstood.
Real, because they actually do move.
So intelligent. Yes.
Bro, he has mushrooms growing out of his back. I feel like this is just a nuclear mutation. Is it gay to literally eat your bro's dick? Okay, dude.
They move cautiously.
Yeah.
With great precision.
Yeah.
But it is not mere laziness. Oh no, my
No, that's
friend.
right. That's right. They have decided that the intellectually stronger way to live life is to not move. I agree with the sloth, personally. It's not out of laziness that I don't leave the house. It's because I have decided that it is superior to not move.
Is evolution.
Kept in
right.
cages at the Garahan estate,
Based.
they made their
Based.
escape following the Great War, mutated by the abundant radiation
So it's just the radiation that mutates them.
into colossal lumbering creatures. Filthy and shaggy fur covered in clusters of mushrooms, they released clouds of spores at potential attackers before hurling rocks and using their large claws to scratch.
Bro, they seem so wholesome. Like, why would anyone kill it, dude?
They can often be found dangling from large trees in the mire
It's just minding its own business. Why are you attacking it, bro?
and are unique in that they ignore almost anything unless attacked first. The confusion over their status as a cryptid stems from the fact that these do not count as cryptids in the Queen of the Hunt daily quest.
I mean, I wouldn't count them as cryptids either. Would every mutated animal, because of the radiation, count as a cryptid now?
But do count towards various daily and event challenges. Whatever the case, these mega sloths were no doubt inspired by the prehistoric megalonyx. Fossils of this enormous ground sloth were originally discovered in Organ Cave in Greenbrier County, West Virginia, a location you can actually now visit in game. Although if you do, keep your wits about you, as cultist worshippers of the red-eyed Mothman have since made it their gruesome abode. And
Dude, I love that the different cultures and cults and new religions start in the wake of a fallout, where you really don't have anything to rely on aside from whoever you decide to choose as your god.
these cultists aren't only interested in that cryptid either, as we discover a hunting party based in Sacramento Glade tracking the Ogua.
The Ogua.
O my shepherd, such blessings you have cast upon us. Grant us your strength once more, for we have found a beast worthy of being sacrificed in your holy name.
Oh,
Sacrifice
God.
is a big deal in the cult of the Mothman, and the sect based
Mothman cult! Mothman cult!
in Sacramento Glade had found something very special indeed. A great creature had traveled south, and trudging through the night in pursuit, they had,
Yo, look at that thing. That thing is scary. Look, it's a mini Godzilla.
as of yet, been unsuccessful in bringing it down. Strong
Brother.
and savage, snapping into any
Smash.
who would dare step near its mighty jaws, the cult's target is the Ogua, a cryptid in Fallout we actually know very little about, except what the cultists believe. They claim its blood is ancient, holding secrets of long ago. Unfortunately, they
Never heard of it. Is that a real thing? This giant turtle guy?
aren't always the most believable source for a creature's origins, but if they are correct, the Ogua could potentially be a pre-war cryptid, or perhaps more
Ooh.
rationally, This could be a reference to the fact that the snapping turtle family have remained almost unchanged for nearly 90 million years.
Interesting. Yeah, snapping turtles are ancient.
The Ogua also...
They look ancient. Bro, look at snapping turtles and tell me they don't look ancient. Like, honestly, they look ancient. Can you believe this is just... This is just a regular thing you could find. You just find this, like, in a lake. But look at these creatures. They're so terrifying. They're just, you know, walking around, doing their thing.
Known as the Rivesville monster or Holt monster, is a freshwater cryptid native to West Virginia and the Pennsylvania area.
Oh
it
shit, is that a multi-headed turtle?
Said to dwell in the Ohio, Allegheny, and Monongahela rivers, repeatedly 20 feet long and weighing in...
Yikes! Brother, a 20-foot long snapping turtle would take your head off.
At 500 pounds, its visual representations all seem to depict the creature as an enormous snapping turtle. Common snapping turtles are native to those regions, and the Ohio River is of course present on the in-game map. Facing this
That, honestly, it's just a snapping turtle with arms and legs.
behemoth in combat means avoiding its snapping jaws, lunging attack, and a unique ability in which it will hide in its shell, temporarily protecting it from all damage. Although its exact origins remain a mystery in Fallout 76, it pales in comparison to the entity that the cult hoped to sacrifice it to, as the Mothman is up next.
Oh shit, we're getting into the Mothman. Yeah, wild. So, of course, Ohio has the giant freaking snapping turtle monster. Obviously, that's where I would put it too. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. The Mothman.
Red eyes to wit.
Yeah, before the Mothman. I think snapping turtles are so cute though. Like, I have this distinct memory of my childhood where I was with my uncle. We were walking in the forest. Everything was wholesome and nice. Okay, this is a wholesome uncle story instead of most uncle stories that you hear online. And there was like this little lake, and there was a snapping turtle in the middle of the lake. And he rolled up his pants, and he walked into the swamp. It was like a lake swamp. It was muddy and disgusting. And he walked in, all up to the snapping turtle from behind, and he just grabbed it and picked it up. And it was snapping everywhere, but it couldn't turn its head around. He was holding it from the back. And he just picked up a literal 10, 20-pound snapping turtle. Just pulled it out of the swamp. And he was like, yo, it's a snapping turtle. I was just like, what? I was losing my mind. Anyway, distinct memory. My uncle's a Giga Chad. Moving on.
Witness the future. Purple to see the lies, but orange? Green?
These guys are just high out of their mind.
That remains to be seen.
Stalking the...
What? Okay, they actually worship the Mothman. I like the idea. When they see something that can't be explained, right? Something completely unfathomable, and they're in an era where technology really isn't up to snuff to start explaining shit to you. You worship it. You know? Like, I like that. I like that this turns people into religious zealots of random cults, worshipping something that they can't explain.
Dark forests of Appalachia, the Mothman remains one of Fallout 76's greatest mysteries. A cryptid creature, in actuality, it is not a single entity, with numerous Mothmen having a variety of different eye colours and temperaments.
Interesting.
Some will stalk you, others will hunt you, some are worshipped, and others impart wisdom, made all the more confusing by close ties.
That is weird, right? So it's a whole species, these Mothmen. And every single one of the Mothmen does something else. They don't seem unified in any way.
To another one of Fallout 76's greatest mysteries. What we are left with is more questions. Why is the red-eyed Mothman considered divine? How did the wise Mothman become wise? And what is the significance of all Mothman hatchlings having orange eyes? All questions I've attempted to answer in a full-length lore video about the cryptid you can check out on the channel.
So that's really interesting. So they're not a hive mind. They're obviously not all-powerful in any way. Honestly, they just kind of seem like people. I think Mothman, they're just very man-like in some way, right? The Mothmen are very likely just people mutated, right? Like every human being is either going to be a dumb fuck or another dumb fuck.
But in today's video, I'll try and keep this section much shorter.
Alright.
The Mothman of Fallout 76 is known to have existed before the Great War, featured in the tales...
What? Okay, never mind. I take it back. It is not a genetically radiated freaking moth-human hybrid, obviously, because it existed before the war. What? That made it much more mysterious all of a sudden.
The West Virginia hills as a hostile red-eyed beast, preying on those in the Point Pleasant area. And despite its vicious reputation, it garnered quite the following. And it's a pretty similar origin story to the real-world sightings of this legendary cryptid. We find the Mothman statue in Point Pleasant, and multiple shrines spread throughout the town. But it is in fact the concealed church that we learn of the first actual sighting after a successful summoning, and the schism of the cult who worshipped it. Brother Charles was visited by the creature on October 22nd, 2077, who warned him of impending floods the next day, and the only way to survive it would be to find higher ground.
Holy shit, it pulled a whole Noah. Oh my god. This is like an actual divine creature then. Like, how did it know that?
Those that took this very literally stood on the roofs of the town, and the others, including Charles, found sanctuary in Lucky Hole Mine. And on October 23rd, those that hid in the mine survived. What comes next is where the mystery deepens, and the second schism of the remaining cult members. With the introduction of two beings...
Dude, this is my favorite one so far, by the way. I'm just saying. This is my favorite cryptid so far in Fallout. The Mothman. That's just... It's just creepy. It's ethereal. It's inexplicable, right? Giant sloth. Okay. Radiation mutated a sloth, all right? Human that ate some sort of random virus and turned him into a Schnellergeist or whatever they call it. All right, you know, explicable, fine. This is somehow ethereal, right? This is supernatural.
So mysterious and unknowable, legends about them don't even exist. The interloper and the visitor, which I believe were actually in opposition to one another. My theory is that Fallout's Mothmen were once wild creatures, perhaps originating from the stars, with their natural eye colour being orange. Hatchlings share this eye colour, but depending on outside influence from these two interdimensional entities and environmental factors, their eyes change.
That's an interesting theory.
Green being the simplest to rationalise, is just irradiated, which leaves red versus purple. On one side we have the interloper, the red-eyed holy Mothmen, and the followers of the Winged One, the hostile cult we find throughout the region. The interloper currently inhabits Lucky Hole Mine, where it craves blood, and the cult which worship it often unknowingly provide just that, pouring the blood of the sacrificed offerings onto its roots, and even using their own in some instances.
Damn. So, they worship it because they're grateful, obviously. It's predicting all this flood shit that's protecting them. Sure. But it is legendary. It is able to predict the future. In their minds, these Mothmen are just a higher power to them, right? And in a world where technology is betrayed and where the government fell apart, where you don't have explanations to shit, it's just some little thing that you can hold on to, that you can believe in. Something stronger and cooler than yourself.
The red-eyed Mothman act as shepherds, drawing more people to the cult to keep the offerings flowing.
He is our shepherd, guiding us through the darkness to his divine light.
That's crazy. Like, shepherd is also, it's another name for Jesus sometimes. Like, it's crazy. They literally worship this thing because this thing is somehow, it knows more than they can understand. I feel like religions have started on way less.
Where his wings flutter, I will follow, and I will not fear the darkness of night.
Within this sect, knowledge of the interloper appears to be a rank one can actually obtain, called a Brother of the Wood. The only non-hostile member we can actually speak to, Stephen Scarberry, has this to say on the subject.
Maybe one day I will become a child of the wood. I just need to... Oh, hello. Don't mind me. Just ruminating.
But in opposition to them, we...
Just ruminating? No one says that normally. What? How you doing? Oh, I'm just ruminating. How are you?
We have the Visitor, the singular Wise Mothman, and the Cult of the Enlightened. And I think there's actually a very good reason why only one Wise Mothman exists now, because the Visitor is dead. As a side note, prior to the introduction of the Visitor's body in the Deep Jig the Wastelanders update, you can actually find multiple Wise Mothmen in Appalachia.
Yo! That is a really good insight. When this visitor thing is alive, there are more red-eyed Mothmen. When it's dead, you only find one.
You can actually kill in a random encounter. But the moment the visitor's deceased body was added, that number reduced to 1, which can only be met in public events, Mothman Equinox, and Path to Enlightenment. The former, a seasonal festival held by the enlightened so they can absorb neurotoxic dust from the wise Mothman.
They could get high as fuck. They could go get some psychedelics and go crazy. Alright. Night of the Moth, where they consume scale. Alright.
So Clarence has more to say about that.
Let the dust and flames and fumes fill you. Let it soak into your throats. Let it show you the truth.
And the biggest
Yeah, alright. It gets you high as shit. And you're like, oh god, I'm seeing visions. I'm seeing visions. I'm just ruminating on my narcotics right now. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Happy 420, everyone, by the way.
difference between these two cults is the apparent acceptance that this Mothman is not a deity, but it does have cosmic wisdom.
The wise Mothman is a single entity, though immeasurable in power with knowledge beyond the age of man. He is but mortal nonetheless. The red-eyed pretenders are wild animals.
And more than that,
Yeah, so obviously all these cults, they all hate each other. Just like, you know, different real-life religions that are based on the same thing, even though they have like slight different nuances or twists to them, and so many people just absolutely hate each other because they're following something slightly different than what they believe in. Like, that's a little on the nose. It's so on the nose. Dude, this Mothman shit is so cool.
speaking to
Right? If it has wisdom and it helps and it predicts shit, well then you might as well worship it as some sort of deity, right? Might as well follow and do what it wants. Because suddenly, I don't need to take accountability to anything that I do, right? It's like, why should I take accountability for my own decisions and shit if I could just follow some sort of higher power and then blame all the unethical bullshit I do on it? Right? Isn't that much easier?
to another member, observer Johanna, she has quite an interesting story to tell.
My brother Yella, he tried to clone him, you know. So foolish. His wisdom was not his at birth. The little ones, they eat poor Yella.
Her brother Yella tried to clone the wise Mothman, but he was foolish, she says, as his wisdom was not at his birth. And
Interesting, right? Because they're born with yellow eyes. But it's only the ones with red eyes that are the wise ones. So cloning them isn't going to help. The wisdom is not inherent to the Mothman. The wisdom is something that the Mothman is able to intuit or absorb from something else. That is such good lore.
the hatchlings ate him, confirming then that, like the hatchlings we find, something must have made this Mothman wise, and I think the most likely candidate would have been the Visitor, which, now dead, can no longer influence any existing Mothmen, pitting this single entity against a veritable army belonging to the interloper. Of course, this is just my take, so let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments.
That's a really cool idea. That the Mothmen are, they're obviously intelligent to some degree, but even more than that, they're incredible receptors to otherworldly or cosmic beings or entities. So they're able to easily receive signals from things. I like that. That's such good lore. What a cool cryptid. Oh my god.
In combat, the Mothman will utilize sonic attacks, powerful shockwaves, and will disintegrate into a pile of neurotoxic ash upon death, something they will try to avoid, often bolting into the sky, disappearing in a wisp of black smoke. But the Mothmen aren't the only cryptid to utilize this getaway technique. Another cryptid inherently linked to the real-world Mothman sightings, a man with the biggest smile in the wasteland.
The Smiling Man. Oh god, this random guy is a cryptid, this dude with a big smile.
On your travels, you may now encounter Indrid Cold, or as he is also known, the Smiling Man.
Nothing scarier than a good smile. Bro looks like Alistair on a good day. SCP. Generic serial killer name. Smiling Man. Dude looks like Alistair right before he's about to murder a family of 8.
Cartoonishly wide grin and unmistakable in his black Jack Gordon outfit, he
No, never blinking either, obviously.
actually won't speak to you until you initiate conversation, creepily staring at you as you circle around him. Perhaps even creepier than his smile, though, is what he has to say. So let's take a listen.
Salutations.
Oh, why does he have to have a jolly voice? Bro sounds like the Joker, just after one word. Also, no one says salutations.
Do not be afraid. I do hope I have found you well.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Indrid, a pleasure to make your acquaintance. What are you called? We have, haven't we?
Oh, what? Dude, Alistair says salutations. Nux, you say salutations all the time. Listen, but I don't speak normal language, okay? Okay? I'm a streamer. Streamers say dumb stuff, not normal human things. All right? Alistair does say salutations. Salutations! He literally does say that. Holy shit. I think I was on the nose with that one.
Not from you, for you. I want only happiness for you.
I'm sure you do.
I have been away a long time. It appears that much has changed during my absence. I have such sights to see. Perhaps you can recommend a local peculiarity.
A peculiarity? You should try find the Mothman, Sheepsquatch, Grafton Monster, Snallygaster. You're the strangest thing I've seen today. No.
Am I? I am in no way special or spectacular.
I've been away for a long time. I've been working on something of a project. I'm sure you're dying to know. And he's gonna start breaking out an Alistair song.
You have my thanks for your time and company. Before I forget, I must go. I do hope to see you again.
Before I forget, I must go. What does that mean?
He introduces himself as Indrid Cold.
Yo, this dude's creepy. What the?
And the smiling man is in fact a reference to a real cryptid sighting of the same name native to West Virginia.
Right, and he said he was. Why does West Virginia have so many cryptids? Are the people there just all high? Like, what the fuck? Come on, man. And also, this is like Slender Man all over again.
It's hard to believe he means well with that grin, but interesting that he mentions he's been away a while. And this original sighting actually came very close to the time that a supposed Mothman sighting took place as well. Although this conversation is fascinating, it's actually his other dialogue that's more interesting.
Damn. No, he is definitely creepy.
If you interact with him repeatedly, he will say this.
Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
Real. That is such good advice.
At least, not yet. I've heard the moon can be blue, and I trust that to be true.
What?
Ever dance with the devil under a blue moon?
Acting as a kind of herald for another cryptid, the Blue Devil.
I really must be on my way, as must you.
Indrid will disappear in a flash of black smoke, extremely similar to the Mothman if attacked.
That is so scary, even talks in rhymes. Bro literally is Alistair.
And since he arrived, he's actually been more active in Appalachia, but is immediately obvious too.
He just shows up, he asks you about weird things.
As heading to the Blue Ridge Caravan pit stop, and reading the meat proprietor Clyde's terminal, we can read about what he's been up to. In the entry Bad Juju, a strange visitor
Some freak came into the bar last night.
Arrived at the pit stop. Grinning from ear to ear, wider than should be possible, they placed 10 caps on the counter one at a time. As this was actually the cost of a drink, Clyde obliged. Taking his beer, he sat by the fire and said nothing for hours, and the only sound Clyde heard was a faint chuckle.
He was smiling and chuckling all to himself. Dude, that's the scariest shit in the world. What the frick?
And not long afterwards,
why so serious?
the pit stop came under attack from a very large bipedal cryptid.
Wait, so this guy, he's like a beacon for cryptids? I feel like he just wants to see the world burn. Everywhere he is, cryptids show up, either Mothman or those moonwolf creatures that it was talking about a second ago. Everywhere he goes, cryptids show up soon after he leaves. What is going on? What the frick is happening here?
The very same Indrid was searching for.
The Blue Devil, oh my god, so we really don't get an answer? He just acts as this weird harbinger of creepy cryptids that just show up wherever he is to just maul and destroy people where he shows up? That is so scary. But now that's a cryptid. That is a good cryptid. Jeebus Freebus.
Appearing like a werewolf of legend, the Blue Devil in Fallout 76 is an aggressive powerhouse, utilizing a unique howl attack, which will actually send you running for the hills, unless you've topped up on liquid courage. But what actually is this creature, and what inspired it? The Blue Devil scare of 1939 to 1940 documents a sighting in Webster County during the winter.
Wait, so
a large
Blue Devil just a werewolf with blue eyes?
bluish dog-like creature with a
Just a dog with blue eyes?
ghastly howl apparently was little more than a large grey wolf.
Yeah, I told you, most cryptids are just like, you know, someone spooked that sees something a little more than it is. I think I don't know. You ever read Sherlock Holmes, The Hound of the Baskervilles? Like, it reminds me of that so much. When they see some monstrous hound, some creature that is so much bigger and scarier than anything they could imagine, and they just constantly need to rationalize it that they just saw a monster, but in reality, they just saw a big fucking hound, you know?
In Fallout, it's
Boss, I can't read. Never mind!
clearly much more than that, and the little we can glean about its origins is thanks to a pair of in-game investigators, who may or may not be onto something. Pre-war cryptid enthusiast Calvin Van Loo, now known as Ares, and the unfortunate barman Clyde, acting as Calvin's eyes and ears on the ground. Through a series of coded messages and reports between the pair, we eventually learned that from a coded cipher, Ares hoped to find one with white on it, as he needed a hunting companion to find the mother. Reading the investigation report note, it reads, "Colour variations are limited, especially local specimen. Dark black hair is most common, appearing almost blue in certain light. None were white like you suggested."
Did you just read this in white?
Although Clyde's investigation does not name a specific species the Blue Devil originated from, he says that they used to be bred for racing and then fighting before the Great War.
Wait, so in the lore of Fallout, before the Great War, which was what, 2077, right? I think so. So before that Great War, or 2076, they did breed them. So that means these cryptids were actually found. They were actually discovered.
This continued after the bombs dropped, but Clyde has not fully determined a reason for the Blue Devil's immense size compared to other canine-like creatures, going on to say that the size could have something to do with that place and what's nearby, although the notes
place. What's that place? So is it just like an irradiated dog? No, but they found them before the war.
does not clarify what that place actually is. So not really anything final from this, but notably you can find Emmett Mountain disposal site pretty close by. Perhaps the Blue Devil is little more than a giant mutated breed of dog, which I currently believe might be a German Shepherd. My rationale being that German Shepherds were originally bred as sheep herders, racing sheep back to the pen, but are now often used for a variety of uses, including search and rescue, police work, and even warfare.
I mean,
Get your theories down.
but I mean, the major difference is, the one flaw in the plan is, if they were bred before the war, then why would you have these irradiated German Shepherds? I think it's much more likely it was actually some creepy species.
Down in the comments though, as this mystery is still unsolved. Speaking of sheep and Calvin Van Loo, leads us nicely to our next cryptid. A woolly-haired cryptid reported across numerous counties in West Virginia. In our world, Sheepsquatch of Fallout 76 is one of the most fascinating cryptids we will cover.
Is it? Okay.
Cover in today's video, as it's a tale of falsehoods, myths, and the revelation that this thing might have actually been knocking around long before the Great War began.
God damn.
Calvin Van...
Wait, so... God damn! Wait a second! So it's not just a mix of sheep and gorilla or something. It's not just some radiated creature. It's like an actual cryptid that's been around for a long time.
Low, although fascinating.
I'm surprised that in the Fallout lore, so many of the cryptids are just, oh yeah, this was a creature that existed that we just weren't able to find out properly about because either the government hid it or it was hiding from humanity. And now that there was this Fallout, it just became very comfortable in the wild, and now you can find it.
Fascinated by cryptids of every kind, was obsessed with this one above all. So when the Beige Company commissioned him to create an imposter Sheepsquatch in an ambitious attempt to seize land,
bro, it's a bear pig man!
Jumped at the chance. The company intended to use the increased Sheepsquatch sightings to throw property values in Lewisburg into freefall, so they could buy the town, sending 2 operatives to assist Calvin, Bo Peep, and Big Bad Wolf. Calvin hoped to use it to draw out the real thing, and after initiating a mating protocol by accident, it maimed Calvin beyond recognition.
God damn.
And escaped
so
into the wastes. His injuries so severe, he became Ares after the ordeal.
Damn. So he could not survive he couldn't, beat it, right? He ended up taking the L. Poor guy.
Bo Peep was slaughtered by the rogue Assaultron, and Big Bad Wolf failed in an attempt to decommission it, but did manage to lay the groundwork for us to finish the job at the Pylon ambush site. Case closed, except not quite, because the real thing was actually out there the whole time, before the war actually started.
What?
Cryptid hunter Ray Gary was left crippled after encountering one, choosing
Yikes!
to keep the experience a secret. 2 graduate students, Michael Turner and Cindy Holloway, met their end on our date night. Suspicious quill was found at the site, and the creature's presence drew the attention of Toxic Larry, a half-crazed animal-like mountain man.
Strong muscles. A stench. Like it's been around for...
Like it's Asmongold's bedroom.
Centuries.
Or that.
Hiding in my lands. Feeding on my prey. Well, not anymore, it don't.
We don't find his body anywhere.
Interesting. So it has been this creature that's just been terrorizing farmers for a very long time.
So perhaps the creature ended up eating him for lunch, but if his nose is to be believed, this creature might be far older than we realized. The wandering storyteller, of course, has his theories, his most far-fetched theory being this one.
How could such a vile creation exist? The product of fornication, carried out far from the eyes of God.
No!
Truly an unholy creation.
But if this creature is rumored to be the result of an unholy matrimony, then the next one must be the spawn of Satan himself, if a crackpot conspiracy theorist.
Wait, so that guy's conspiracy is that it's like demonic. I mean, I get it. It has like the goat's horns, I guess. Sheep's horns, Sheepsquatch. Has like the goat horns. I guess it does look demonic in a way. Alright, interesting.
Is to believed at the very least.
Jersey Devils! Oh my god. I had a feeling this one was coming.
Not all cryptid stories originate from West Virginia.
Biggest shock of the video, the ultimate twist. I thought every cryptid in the world somehow came together in West Virginia.
And actually one of the most famous of all is the Jersey Devil, which has multiple legendary backstories, which all begin in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. The Leeds Devil was described as having bat-like wings, a horse's head, claws, and the general air of a dragon. The Lenape people who originally populated the Barrens believed in a winged deer spirit, Msing, a deer-like creature with leathery wings. And in Fallout 76, this unnamed conspiracy theorist will offer a very different explanation.
They literally wear tinfoil hats.
Loud tourists, low-tier entertainers, showgoers on their way home from the pier. The devil swoops down from the sky and swallows them whole.
Interrupting you on your quest to save Abby Grusso from a debilitating but very topical drug addiction. Viewed as little more than a story by most inhabitants of post-war Atlantic City, the truth was inadvertently sitting under their noses the entire time. Central to the narrative of the Atlantic City expedition, the unique designer drug the Devil's Blood is a highly addictive, incredibly rare, and
shit. Well, I mean, obviously, drugs are a thing. If I would live in that wasteland, I'd want to be high as much as I can as well.
prohibitively expensive narcotic for AC high rollers.
What we didn't count on was the Devil's Blood. One hit is all it took to realize we'd made a terrible mistake.
But
Wait, so this Devil's Blood is a drug that's not only addictive and shit, but it makes you feel bad about your sins? God damn, that's on the nose. That name works.
Source, not revealed until the end of the storyline, was in fact an organic one. The Jersey Devil,
Devil's Blood. It was just blood literally taken from a Jersey Devil and was used as a drug. Shit.
was real.
That's crazy. Well, that heavily implies the fact that, I don't know, there is some sort of weird spirituality to this shit. Like, there is like an archaic demonological background behind this thing. It's not just a creature that exists that we couldn't identify.
Heading into the Pine Barrens to make a deal with the devil in exchange for power, Antonio Russo had no choice but to kill the creature he found, as this was little more than a highly aggressive beast, describing it as having no discernible intelligence, but inadvertently discovered that its blood was both potent and addictive. With the help of the chemist Jean, the pair analysed the body before beginning production of the narcotic, dooming many a high roller and his own daughter Abby to a future of crippling addiction, as the creature Antonio slew was in fact just a juvenile.
Oh my god!
These lesser devils are smaller in stature than a deathclaw,
Yo, he killed a baby! He's like, oh, that was tough, it was dangerous, but it was a baby!
although no less fierce. But in order to create a potent enough antidote, full-grown adult would need to be lured out of the Barrens, and the actual Jersey Devil is a far more dangerous opponent. Speed, agility, and a surprisingly diverse range of attacks that include a kind of laser shooting from its eyes. It even has the
That is scary, bro!
ability to almost fly.
Babies produce the best drugs, true chat, true.
Launching itself into the air at breakneck speed. Currently, how such a creature came to be is a complete mystery.
Unless, just saying, unless the occult is actually real, unless demonology is actually a real thing, and this is demonic in some way, right? Like, if you think about it, the Jersey Devil's blood is giving people feelings of guilt and shit, right? Think about it, bro. Think about it. I love these intended metaphors and these intended analogies and these obviously intended perspectives and paths to go down, right? Like, obviously that's what they heavily want you to believe. Maybe there isn't a scientific explanation for this. Maybe you just can't pull a Velma Dinkley, lose your glasses, and explain shit.
But my guess, given its similarity to the Deathclaw, itself a pre-war genetic construct designed to assist in open warfare, this creature could be a variation of that.
Yeah, or it's genetic testing, I'm just saying.
Born in a secret lab somewhere, with lots of new abilities to utilize. We will have to wait and see how this cryptid is explained in universe, but finding answers to everything isn't always possible when it comes to all of Fallout's cryptids.
Yeah, and I like that, by the way. I like that it leaves it, unexplained. Because here's the thing. In this universe of Fallout, they clearly seem to want you to be able to come to your own conclusions the same way the characters and the NPCs in this world came to their conclusion. The same way some of them worshipped, Mothra, worshipped the Mothman as some sort of deity because they believed it had some sort of divine power. I think it makes sense for it to let you come to your conclusions as well. Or maybe you can say, you know what? Maybe there is some sort of divinity to this stuff. And it's not just weird genetic mutations. And they'll leave it open-ended for you because, you know what? You don't always get all the answers. I really like that. I think that's really dope. So sometimes, like the Snallygeist, the Schnelligeist, the one that was a flesh pit eyeball creature, like for something like that, we will get the explanation for it. And that's fine. Because it's not like nothing is explicable. It's just some of it is not. And you'll have to come to your own conclusions. I really love that. Ghosts, baby.
Ghosts are canon.
Alright, dude. Alright, that's it. Ghosts. Alright.
In Fallout, with 2 confirmed paranormal beings appearing in the series so far, and a third potentially on the way. As a rational explanation for their presence, whether it be science, radiation, or the stars, cannot be found. Ghosts simply exist. Although there have been multiple characters called Ghost, a ghost farm, and even ghost people, the first actual ghost appeared in Fallout 2. The ghost of Anna Winslow stalks the den, doomed to eternal suffering in this plane.
Ah, shit.
Unless the Chosen One recovers her locket. More recently though...
So that is an actual ghost. Bro, that is an actual fucking ghost.
It's the ghost of Lucy Grantchester that players will encounter in Fallout 4's Nuka World DLC. Haunting the Grantchester Mystery Mansion after an apparent suicide, Lucy will disappear the moment the sole survivor gets close, during a creepy guided tour, with this scene in particular standing out as the ghost could be seen watching through a window on approach. But a third ghost has also been teased in Fallout 76, and with that we move on to the final section of today's video. Mentioned only cryptids.
So, I mean, ghosts, there's nothing you could say, man. There's some paranormal shit out there. And in this Fallout universe, you know what? That's fine. Especially because, I mean, in real life, there are so many people that claim to have paranormal experiences too. It's like, you gotta wonder, are all these people just collectively insane? Or is there actually some sort of paranormal stuff going on in the world? And to answer everyone who wonders if I believe in ghosts, I don't know. Depends on the day. Some days I'll be like, oh, y'all stupid. And then some days I'll be like, I don't know. A lot of people talk about this shit. A lot of people have experiences. I'm just saying. They're not all crazy. They're not all making it up. So, I don't know. I guess it depends on the day. It depends who I'm talking to also, because I just like arguing with people and making people upset. So, what can I say?
So you might be next to arrive.
Future cryptids. Alright.
For this section, we're going to be using 2 main pieces of source material. Season 12 of Fallout 76 introduced more than just a variety of different cryptid-themed rewards, because the scoreboard itself tells a story. Taking a closer look at the illustrations, cards, and figurines, a variety of different cryptids can be seen. Traditional representations of existing creatures we can find in-game.
Dude, I think Mothman was still so dope. Mothman was my favorite. And also, Smiling Guy. Shit.
Completely new ones as well. And several of these served as the first clues that those cryptids would be next to appear. In the case of the Ogua, the Blue Devil, the Jersey Devil, and Injured Cold.
Okay.
But several still remain. The second source material is having a little chat with Stephen Scarberry, the non-hostile member of the Followers of the Winged One, who we mentioned earlier. This Mothman cult
That's just a Mothman.
has encountered many creatures on his travels, and will describe some random encounters, but actually line up nicely with these new teased cryptids. I'll be playing each relevant excerpt alongside the breakdown of each creature, and up first is the Greenbrier Ghost, a name popularly attributed to the alleged ghost of Elvazona Hester Shue, a young woman who was murdered in 1897. Initially judged to death by natural causes, the court later declared that she'd been murdered by her husband, following testimony by the victim's mother, who claimed her daughter's spirit revealed the true cause of her death. Stephen references this.
Oh god, please don't tell me they like imprisoned the husband because a cult said it and the ghost said it.
Towards the White Springs, I could faintly see a woman in need of help. She ran unobstructed through the trees before I lost sight of her near an old cemetery.
And it's also referenced by some idle dialogue in the White Springs. Next is this illustration, the Veggie Man. Found in the top right corner of the scoreboard, Stephen
He's called the Veggie Man?
describes this creature best. A description
He is a vegan. No!
that almost perfectly matches the reputed real-life sighting.
In the thick of a forest, I heard a high-pitched jabbering close by. As I approached, some tall foliage appeared to reach out and grab a settler. Be wary of strange trees.
Okay, that looks like it's more likely just a genetically mutated Venus flytrap, right?
The Veggie
Either that or Zetsu, here to kill Madara again.
Man does actually have some similarities to the Interlope.
The Veggie Man, it's just salad fingers, you know. Salad fingers, poor demented brother.
Both are closely associated with wood, and entering the chamber of the interloper you'll hear a low hum, although not an exact match for the jabbering associated with the Veggie Man. Another element from its sighting is it reportedly spoke telepathically with the victim. The interloper called out to the Mothman cultists telepathically, bringing many of them to Lucky Hole Mine. The Veggie Man was said to be very tall, arguably over 7 feet, with a thin semi-human-like shape. Partially plant-based, it possessed large ears, with striking eyes that oscillated in colours. Returning to the board and heading down to the middle, we can see
a mud puppy.
Sad pig-like creature. And this is the Squonk.
A squonk? Dude, I never heard of any of these cryptids. Okay, I have to do the Wendigo cryptid tier list at some point. I gotta go through this shit, alright? Listen, I know they're all in Appalachia, so, like, not exactly my neck of the woods, but, like, I gotta know.
Described as a wart-covered creature ashamed of its appearance.
Dude, that looks like Eldritchian Garfield. What am I even looking at right now? Oh my god, dude. Have you seen this? Garfield horror? Bro, they are the same guy. They are the same dude. The Squonk is just Eldritch Garfield.
The legends of the Squonks originated in the late 19th century. Its skin was reportedly ill-fitting.
I'm sorry, John. Bullets won't work, John. Give me my lasagna.
And spent most of its time weeping.
Oh, it's such a sad little squonk.
A pool of tears can be seen in the illustration. In reality, it seems that this creature was likely inspired by a type of pig. Described as having tusks, it also doesn't sound too threatening compared to some of the other creatures on the list.
I mean, why is this even a cryptid? It's just a sad pig.
Stay, with its fearsome aspect being contagious misery. Incidentally, something we have
Contagious misery, fuck.
seen appear on
I don't need more depression. I got enough of it, okay?
some new camp items is the mounted rat hog and butchered boar meat. So perhaps we could see some kind of pig-like creature as a new enemy type. Outside of all of these cryptids which have been teased, Fallout has also seen a few others referenced. The chupacabra, Spanish for goat sucker, is a legendary creature of Puerto Rican
You suck one goat and everyone remembers you as a goat sucker.
origin. In Fallout New Vegas, No Bark Noonan calls an invisible nightkin a chupacabra after it had killed several Brahmin around the town of Novak. The Loch Ness Monster is a legendary creature of Scottish origin, said to dwell
It's Nessie.
in Loch Ness. Again in Fallout New Vegas, Jenny DeSoto, an employee at the H&H Tools company, couldn't attend a weekend event because she was operating a Loch Ness Monster puppet in a play. After raising the crashed B-29 out of the water for the boomers, Mr. New Vegas will actually air a segment referencing locals seeing a large object or creature rising from Lake Mead, dubbing it the Lake Mead Monster. And lastly for today, a small model
Okay, I feel like it's very likely they'll have some sort of Loch Ness monster. I feel like that's probably the most iconic cryptid.
of what looks like a Yeti or Sasquatch is seen in model
And I think that's probably the second most iconic cryptid, so I think that's super likely.
form on the Season 12 artwork. The latter is also mentioned again on the cover of one edition of the magazine Backwoodsman. But with that, we really have reached the end of today's
Bro, rabies schmabies. That sounds like something I would write, honestly.
cryptid lore video. Cryptids have captured the imaginations of people the world over, and in Fallout it is no different.
It's true.
Championed in
It's
Fallout
true.
76.
They're fascinating creatures. There's something so, like, enticing and fascinating about something that just can't be explained, you know? I love that shit. I love that shit.
We've seen many appear in the flesh, with interesting variations, origin stories, and open mysteries to mull over. But which cryptids would you like?
I love that they're not just cookie cutter copies of the actual cryptid lore, because the lore's probably not, even if it would be real, they can't be that accurate, you know?
To see appear in the series next. With some very famous ones still missing, I'd love to read your thoughts on this down in the comments. If you enjoyed this particular video, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. We have plenty more Fallout videos releasing soon.
Oh god, it's Steven! Failure! Yo, check out Uranium Fever. This was a really good video. He did a really good job covering this, and this was my 100% blind reaction to all of Fallout's creepy cryptids, bro. I have completed the 100% blind reaction Fallout lore trilogy. I've covered the lore, I've covered the vaults, I've covered the cryptids, and I've covered the drama and controversies, bro. I have literally completed the trifecta. Definitely check out the other videos. They are bangers. Your boy is here. Lord Nuxanor will learn all the lore of everything. I really want to do 40k, Warhammer 40k thing. I'm thinking of that, seriously. And now it is time for me finally to actually watch the Fallout show. And I'll let you know what I think about that. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Stay weird, fam. Bye! If you made it to the end, click one of these two videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on Kick. Stay weird, fam.